Hello and welcome back to another episode of Teatime Tuesday. I'm Rashan Gidwani, the presenter for PyTCH Media. Today we'll be talking with Tong Yuan, an investment consultant from Phillip Investor Centre, Topayo branch. Hi, Tong Yuan. Thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I'm great, Rashan. Thanks for having me today on the program.
Oh, absolutely. You're most welcome. So before we begin, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
So my education background was in finance, and I have been an investment consultant at PhillipCapital for a year.
Okay, brilliant. Now, I'm sure that with your experience being an investment consultant with PhillipCapital, you've got a wealth of knowledge about finance. So what will you be sharing with our viewers today?
Today, I'll be sharing 3 ways on how millennials can actually start savings.
So why should our viewers be worried about savings?
So, millennials actually in Singapore, they form a significant portion of our workforce, and they are slowly turned into the breadwinners of their families. However, according to research, they have among the worst retirement prospect of any generation, and the main reason is because they have not prepared enough for their retirement.
Ooh, okay, so that's not good. And also, living costs are rising, so I'm sure millennials, they get stressed. They find it difficult, right, to save for the future. Maybe they're just not sure where to start, and that's where you come in. How do millennials structure their finances accordingly?
So the first method I would suggest is to use the 50-30-20 budget rule. So it's a simple yet effective measure to manage your finances as well as it can cultivate your savings habit. So how it works is simple. So the first 50% of your income will be spending on necessities such as your car loans, your housing loans, your rental, or even your insurance premium. And then after addressing all your needs, the next 30% of the income will be spending on wants, which is your lifestyle related expenses. For example, it's like you want to dine out in a high-end restaurant, or maybe you can buy some cool and expensive gadget. And finally, the last 20% will be as a savings. They save the last 20%, and you never underestimate the 20% because it can add up to a considerable amount down the road.
I see. Okay, yeah, down the road. It's all about the future. That's very interesting, that rule. I've learned something new today. Normally, I get my salary, I pay my bills, spend it on whatever necessities I have, and then the rest I just spend it however I want. So what you're saying is that's not good. There should be some discipline there.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, fantastic. So how do I plan accordingly for the future? How do I save for the future?
So you can also use a way we call it a regular savings investment plan. So it basically is like to put a specific amount of money on your chosen investment at a specific date regularly. And for example, you can putting in $500 every month, every first day of the month in your chosen unit trust. And this way actually can help millennials to stay invested across all market cycles. For example, you can accumulate more units when the overall markets are down. And this also bring in the power of a compounding return, and which can grow your wealth exponentially in the long run. So comparing to the first method, this method are more proactive.
Okay, yeah. Wow, without you, I would never have known that. And that's where you come in. That's why you're here on the interview today. Brilliant. What else should we know, Tong Yuan?
The last method we'll be seeing this thing at a totally different angle. So instead of looking into how to increase your savings, millennials can also avoid unnecessary expenses and debt. Impulse spending can be counterproductive to our savings effort, and often it will lead us to be taking extra loans which are not necessary. In Singapore, millennials actually have the fastest growing debt load, which is not surprising because most of them are either having a children or buying a new property, or some even still continuing to pay up their student loans. That's why we, as a millennials, we need to be cautious when we take loans, especially those loans that will incur high interest rate, just like credit card loans. Savings, enough money, right, can also give us a peace of mind. And also it will give us a lot of option for decision that will actually make a direct impact to our quality of life. And also, savings without money is very important, especially in millennials generation, because this is a time where most of our wealth start accumulating.
Okay, you mentioned something. Singapore has the fastest rising cost of debt load.
Oh no, I mean the millennials. Are the generation that have the fastest growing debt loads.
That can't be good for millennials. That can't be
correct.
good for my mental health, my physical health,
Correct.
my financial health. So that has to change.
So that's why those necessary debt will still be taking, like housing loans, there's no choice. But then we can cutting out the loans such as credit card loans, which are not necessary in a way.
Right. So avoid unnecessary spending.
Correct.
And
At all
impulse
costs.
spending at all costs.
Correct.
What I like to do is instead of walking into a shop with my credit card or my debit card and spending unnecessarily on things that I just want, because I've got my salary and then I can do whatever I want. I like to go to the ATM, take out cash, and then walk into a store. And because I have a budget, I know what I'm going to spend it on. Right? Would you say that's an effective method?
Yeah, that's a brilliant way for some people because, buying it using cash is not different with buying something with credit card. Because when people buying things with credit card, sometimes they are not managed to pay back the credit card loans on time. And the interest rate are quite big. Yeah.
Correct. And it helps to avoid unnecessary spending.
Correct.
Okay. Let's do a recap before we sign off. Tong Yuan, take it away.
Yeah, sure. So the first method we're talking about was the 50-30-20 budget rule. The second one is the regular savings investment plan. And the third one should be to avoid impulse spending.
Brilliant. Tong Yuan, without you, I wouldn't have been enlightened to all these fantastic steps, and our viewers, the millennials, wouldn't have been enlightened as well. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Anytime. Thank you, fun.